mo kí n pé ẹ kú ìyálẹ̀ta ní gbogbo tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ wa ní àkókò tí a wà yìí ṣe dáadáa la bá yín. mo kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ètò NDLEA Wada Half Hour lórí ìkànnì Midas Radio 90.5 FM Àdó Èkìtì. àkọ́kọ́ ètò eléyìí nínú oṣù tá a wà yìí náà ni àmúwá sí etí ìgbọ́ yín. ẹ dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ wípé láti bí oṣù díẹ̀ sẹ́yìn láti oṣù August ni a ti mú ètò yìí wá sí etí ìgbọ́ yín tó wípé iléeṣẹ́ Káyọ̀dé Adámọ̀lẹ́kùn Foundation àwọn ló kówó lẹ̀ lórí kí a máa mú ètò wá sí etí ìgbọ̀nyín ní gbogbo ọ̀sẹ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Tuesday tó bá di aago 11:30 títí di aago 12. lórí ètò yìí ni a ti ń tara wa lólobó nípa àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tí àwọn àjọ NDLEA ìyẹn ni National Drug Law Enforcement Agency tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì àwọn akitiyan wọn láti rí i pé wọ́n dẹ́kun lílo oògùn lọ́nà àìtọ́ àti lílo oògùn olóró ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì. pàápàá jùlọ kí ni ojúṣe wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí aráàlú, kí ni ojúṣe wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí, kí ni ojúṣe wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn adarí ẹ̀sìn, kí ni ojúṣe wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ilé ìwé, ilé ẹ̀kọ́, àwọn tíjà àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. láyé àtijọ́ wọ́n ní bá mi na ọmọ mi kò dé na ọmọ bó ṣe rí lọ́jọ́ ọjọ́ òní náà nìyẹn. torí pé tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ládùúgbò wa wípé a rí àwọn ọmọ ọlọ́mọ fẹ́ pé wọ́n ń hùwà ìbàjẹ́ àbí wọ́n ń ṣe ìwà òdì kan tó yẹ wípé a lè bá wọn wí ṣùgbọ́n torí àmọ́ nǹkan táwọn òbí wọn máa sọ a lè má lè bá wọn wí. lórí ètò yìí ni a ti ń tara lólobó nípa àwọn ọ̀nà tí a lè gbà láti dẹ́kun ìwà lílo oògùn olóró tàbí lílo oògùn lọ́nà àìtọ́. lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ètò NDLEA Wada Half Hour eléyìí tó ń dé sí ìbọ̀yìn láti lè ṣe Midas Radio 90.5 FM Àdó Èkìtì. Olúwaṣẹ́gun Adélékè lóko tí mò ń jẹ́. I want to say welcome to you and happy new month. For the month of December, this is the first edition of NDLEA Wada Half Hour on Midas Radio 90.5 FM at Àdó Èkìtì, and we are committed to bringing you qualitative information about drug use prevention, about substance abuse prevention, about involving in the use of illicit drugs, which the law enforcement agency, that's the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, is solely in charge of drug demand reduction and drugs supply reduction. When we talk about drug demand reduction, ìyẹn túmọ̀ sí wípé bí àwọn èèyàn ṣe ń béèrè fún oògùn olóró sí, that has to do with sensitization, enlightenment of the public or the populace on the dangers of substance abuse and the dangers of involving in illicit drug business or involving in substance abuse or drug misuse. That is on the side of drug demand reduction. On the side of drug supply reduction, that has to do with enforcement, seizures, arrests, destruction of farmlands where you have cannabis sativa planted. And NDLEA State Command is solely in charge of that right here in Ekiti. Very shortly, our guests will be joining us today, and we will be continuing with our topic, the one we started with last week, which is about the roles of parents in the prevention of substance abuse among their children. Yes, parents obviously have a lot of roles to play, and today we will touch light and examine more. What are the specific roles of parents? How can parents be aware of their kids' involvement in the use of illicit substances?
All these hungry leaders stealing from the poor. We must start to speak out for the poor, for the young people. Speak out for the children. Speak out for the women. See, we must speak out, Speak out in every way we can. Speak out.
All right, you're welcome back on NDLEA Wada Half Hour. Let's go on this very quick break. When we come back, we'll open all of our focus, all of our angles for the program today to our listener, wherever you're listening from. Thanks for joining us on NDLEA Wada Half Hour on Midas Radio 90.5 FM. Àdó Èkìtì this morning.
Egbògi olóró yìí ṣe nǹkan rẹ̀, ẹ jáwọ́ nú ẹ̀.
Ẹ jẹ́ máa bá wọn sọ, kí wọ́n má ṣe hùwà ìbàjẹ́ mọ́.
Àjọ tí ń gbógun ti egbògi olóró ẹ̀ka ti ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì ń fi àkókò yìí fọ rere sí gbogbo ọmọ ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì. Lọ́mọdé lágbà lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin wípé ẹ yàgò fún lílò, títà tàbí gbígbìn egbògi olóró bíi igbó, tramadol, rafnol, codeine, monkeytail àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Igbó mímu a máa yani ní wèrè tàbí kó rán ni lọ sẹ́wọ̀n. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó lè ṣekú pa ọ́. Bákan náà là ń rọ gbogbo ọba láyé, ìjòyè àti gbogbo ọmọ onílẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí á yàgò láti máa yọ̀ǹda ilẹ̀ wa fún àwọn karambà ní ẹ̀dá tí ń fi gbogbo ilẹ̀ wa ṣe igbó gbígbìn. Ẹ rí i dájú dájú pé ẹ ṣàbójútó ẹnikẹ́ni tí ẹ bá fún nílẹ̀ ẹni gbépo lájà àti ẹni tí ó gbà á lẹ̀ ọ̀daràn làwọn méjèèjì. àwa fi ń tó yín létí pé àjọ NDLEA ti ṣàgbéǹde ètò kan tí a mọ̀ sí War Against Drug Abuse WADA. ẹnikẹ́ni tí ọwọ́ bá tẹ̀ yóò fi mú kàtà òfin gbé ìgbé àlàáfíà yàgò fún egbòogi olóró. àjọ NDLEA Èkìtì State Command lolùkéde.
Alright, you're welcome back. Mo kí yín káàbọ̀ sórí ètò NDLEA WADA half hour láti lè ṣe Midas Radio. Ètò yìí ni àjọ Káyọ̀dé Adámọ̀lẹ́kùn Foundation tí wọ́n kówó lẹ̀ wípé kẹ́ máa mú wá sí etí ìgbọ̀nyìn tó bá di aago 11 àbọ̀ ti di aago 12 ọ̀sán. Mo dẹ̀ sọ fún yín tẹ́lẹ̀ wípé ohun tí a fẹ́ mẹ́nubà lọ́jọ́ tòní ó ní ṣe pẹ̀lú ipa tí àwọn òbí ń kó tàbí akitiyan wo làwọn òbí lè ṣe láti rí pé àwọn ọmọ wọn wọn ò kópa nínú lílo oògùn olóró tàbí lílo ọ̀nà oògùn lọ́nà àìtọ́. Láàárọ̀ yìí àwọn akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ tó yẹ pé wọ́n mọ̀ nípa òfin tó di lílo oògùn olóró mú láti àjọ NDLEA State Command wọ́n ti wà pẹ̀lú wa nínú kolo yìí mo sì fẹ́ kí wọ́n káàbọ̀ láàárọ̀ yìí àwọn tó yẹ pé ẹ ti mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ bí ẹni ìmọ̀wó náà ni ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ kí n ṣe àfihàn wọn láàárọ̀ yìí láti ọ̀dọ̀ ọ̀gá wa tí wọ́n jẹ́ Head Drug Demand Reduction Deputy Commander of Narcotics Officer Musa Balógun. Ẹ bá wa kí àwọn aráalé láàárọ̀ yìí ní kíákíá.
Akí gbogbo yẹn wá nílé o a sì kí yín pé ẹ kú ìmúra ọdún a bá wa láyé àti láàyè o a sì fi dùnnú ṣe lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Ẹ ṣeun gan ni kí n wá sí ọ̀dọ̀ Assistant Superintendent of Narcotics ASN Ìfẹ́olúwa Fábíyì tí wọ́n jẹ́ PRO Ekiti State Command NDLEA. A very good morning to you and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Mr. Shegun.
All right, and also ọ̀gá wa dáadáa sọ wípé a lè sọ wípé wọ́n mọ Yorùbá dáadáa wọ́n fi Yorùbá wọ́n fi ṣàánú wa lórí ètò lọ́sẹ̀ tó kọjá ó ti yẹ pé ó níbi tí wọ́n mọ̀rọ̀ lọ ṣùgbọ́n ọ̀rọ̀ tán sọ wọ́n jẹ́ kó yé wa dáadáa náà ni. All right, talking about Assistant Superintendent of Narcotics ASN Badari Busayo tí wọ́n jẹ́ Staff Officer Drug Demand Reduction. Ẹ bá wa kí àwọn aráalé ní kíákíá.
Ẹ káàárọ̀ ìyára ilé àdẹ̀kù ìbúra ọdún.
Ẹ ṣeun gan ni. Now let us quickly get to our focus for today. Last week, we started to talk about the roles of parents in curbing substance abuse among their children. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n wá sọ́dọ̀ Officer Musa Balógun tí wọ́n jẹ́ Head Drug Demand Reduction Department lágbègbè wa. Ṣé ẹ lérò wípé àwọn òbí wọ́n ń gbìyànjú láti rí wípé àwọn ọmọ wọn gan wọn kópa nínú lílo oògùn olóró tàbí lílo oògùn lọ́nà àìtọ́?
Ẹ ṣe olóòtú àwọn òbí kọ̀ọ̀kan nǹkan tí mo lè ṣe fún àkíyèsí wa nígbà tí a ti dé Èkìtì àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan ń gbìyànjú ṣùgbọ́n mo fẹ́ ìyànjú náà ó lè má ti tó torí àìrí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ tí wọ́n tún lo oògùn yìí náà. Then mo wo kinní kan lérí àbí tí ọ́fíìsì wa wà àwọn òbí kọ̀ọ̀kan ò tí ì gbìyànjú tó torí mo rí àwọn ọmọ léńjẹ kọ̀ọ̀kan níbi aago 9-10 lálẹ́ tó jẹ́ pé mo rí àwọn ọmọ yẹn tó yẹ kí wọ́n wà lábẹ́ òbí ní àsìkò gbà yẹn ṣùgbọ́n you see them in joints. Kódà èmi fún ọ lára mi mo ti lé ọ̀dọ́ méjì kan rí tí wọ́n gbé ọlọ́mọge kéékèèké méjì wá tí wọ́n ọ̀dà fún bíà tí wọ́n dòkó táwọn náà fẹ́ mọ́ mo ní at your age mo lé wọn jáde. I don't know their parents but I have to play my own role. Mo ní mo gbọ́dọ̀ ta nǹkan fún wọn although they may not be happy but I don't care. So mo lé wọn jáde. So a rí i pé àwọn ọmọ kọ̀ọ̀kan tí ò tí ọjọ́ orí wọn ò tí ì tóbi tó jẹ́ pé ó yẹ ká pé òbí wọn lè máa béèrè ìbéèrè bó lọ ń lọ bó ló wà at certain time of period. Kò yẹ kí wọn wà ń ta níbi fàájì. Ní sọ pé lọ́jọ́ iwájú àwọn náà lè ṣe fàájì but for now kí ni student ń wá ń ta lágo 9-10 tó dọ́ bàbá ṣe fàájì tó wọ́n máa rin káàkiri àwọn bóyá àwọn ẹgbẹ̀gbẹ̀ títì tán ti mú àwọn kan kọ̀ọ̀kan yẹn. So a fẹ́ káwọn òbí kí wọ́n tún try kí wọ́n kíyèsí àwọn ọmọ wọn. Ẹ̀dá ìgbà tán bá wà nílé gẹ́gẹ́ bá ṣe sọ ilé náà lẹ́ ti lè kíyèsí ọmọ dáadáa tàbá yìí ti mú wọn gírí tá a kó wọn níjànú tá a jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ implication of taking these drugs á wà ní inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ wọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá a bá bọ́ ọmọ kékeré sọ máa ń live long wọ́n dẹ̀ ọmọ yẹn wọ́n máa ń wà lára wọn tá a bá sọ fún wọn pé bóbi bá nǹkan báyìí mi fẹ́ nǹkan báyìí ni mo fẹ́ kó dà irú ọmọ kan tí wọ́n mú ọ́fíìsì wa ń jó ní nísà jẹ́ kó realize pé tó o bá ṣe dáadáa láyé ìwọ fúnra wàá jèrè ẹ̀ láàrin ara ẹ̀ bóbi ẹ̀ bá lọ tán ìwọ máa sì gbádùn ayé tó kù lọ so àwọn òbí ń gbìyànjú àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan we still see some are not doing enough.
All right, let me come to Officer Ifeoluwa Fabiyi this morning. We are still talking about the roles of parents in substance abuse, but I'd like us to take it from an angle. Some parents really don't want their kids to be involved or their children to be involved. But what are some of the factors that make kids or children under parents to still be involved in substance abuse? Maybe we'll call it some of the risk factors that make young people who are still under their parents to be involved in drug abuse or substance abuse.
Thank you, Mr. Shegun. One of the major risk factors is the environment. Recently in the office, we had a woman who told us of the reason she had to relocate her family from a part of Ado to another part because the environment they were living in before was too chaotic. It was too friendly to substance abuse. So because of that, the parents had to relocate the family to another place that is more serene. So the environment play a major role. Another thing is the peer pressure. Most of the time, children, young people spend more time with their friends than with their parents at home. For instance, if you go to school, you leave home as early as now in this age, some parents leave home as early as 7 a.m. and the children will not return home until 6 in the evening. So they spend more time with their peers in school, they spend more time with their friends, such that they tend to pick the habit of their friends. So peer group influence plays a major role in this thing. And then we cannot overemphasize the influence of music on the choices these young people are making when it comes to substance abuse. We have a pandemic in Nigeria at the moment where our airspace is not well regulated because of the content that is coming out in music. We have music artists that glorify drug use, that glorify drug abuse. I don't want to be singing some songs on radio. So you see young people, because they identify with these people, they see them as their celebrity, they see them as their role model, they want to be like them. And because of that, they tend to pick their lifestyle, they tend to pick the kind of thing they see displayed on, because to them, they see it as a norm. So they follow that path, and before you know what is happening, addiction sets in. So no matter the counsel, no matter the training the mother gives them, if the parents are not monitoring their activities from time to time, at least you will notice some changes. So if the parents are not monitoring their activities from time to time to notice when the children are deviating from the path that they have set for them, then there will be problem. The environment and all those other factors will definitely influence drug use.
Okay. Thank you very much. You actually answered the question that I really, want you to mention, the issue I want you to mention, which one of them is the family environment where they live, peer influence, their friends, and their colleagues, social media and role modeling, for many of them. But I feel there's something that you did not mention, which may be related to the knowledge of parents about substance abuse and drug abuse. But I'm going to ask our dear officer right there, who is the officer in charge of the drug demand department right there. How do parents really know that their kids are involved in substance abuse? Officer Obadari.
Thank you, sir. Talking about the signs for parents to look out for. Okay, sir. Number one sign is, you see there's one thing we call paraphernalia in your child's hands. What is that kid doing with that? That paraphernalia is like rampy paper like this. Wọ́n máa ń lò, irú àwọn tó máa ń ṣe decoration yẹn náà wọ́n máa ń lò dáadáa. Then there's another thing we call lighter, matches. Orí ìṣáná lọ́wọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ tí ò kí ń lọ sí kitchen tí ò kí ń dáná kí ló ń fi ìṣáná ṣe at that particular moment then you see that anytime ọmọ ẹ̀ ṣáà máa ń tilẹ̀kùn mórí always indoors find out kí ló ń ṣe nínú ilé ọmọ tó yẹ pé tó bá ti wà nílé ó máa ń bá àwọn ẹ̀gbẹ́ àbábúrò ẹ̀ ṣeré tán jáde síta but all of a sudden ẹ kò déédéé rí i pé ó déédéé ń tilẹ̀kùn mọ́ra ẹ̀ sínú ilé then tẹ bá ṣàkíyèsí náà wípé ọmọ ẹ̀ máa ń mu tọ́mtọ́m always ṣá.
ẹja forúkọ bo sweet tó máa ń pa òórùn kan mọ́.
sweet tó máa ń pa òórùn kan mọ́ ẹ rí i pé ọmọ ẹ̀ ṣáà máa ń la always then ó tún ní àwọn olóòórùn tó tún máa ń fi sára tó déédéé rí i pé ọmọ ẹ̀ máa ń lò ṣá ní gbogbo ìgbà kí ni ìdí tó fi lo gbogbo wọ̀nyẹn then tí ọmọ sẹ́pẹ́ tó bá ti ń bá wí tó yẹ pé in fact kò ní lè wojú ẹ bọ̀ ó kàn déédéé ṣàkíyèsí pé ojú ẹ̀ gan ti wá le ju ojú ẹ lọ àbí ọmọ tó jẹ́ wípé a máa dé gòsójú ṣá ní àárọ̀ ọ̀sán alẹ́ kí nìkan tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni torí ojú wọn á ti pọ́n so wọn ò ní fẹ́ jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn kan rí nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn then ọmọ tó yẹ pé tẹ́lẹ̀ á wẹ̀ á kó obìnrin ẹ̀ á fi cream para ṣe bọ̀ ó tiẹ̀ déédéé yí padà kò tiẹ̀ wá kí ẹ̀ mọ́ àti pé kó gẹrun ẹ̀ àti pé kó fọ aṣọ àti pé kó ṣe ọmọ tó yẹ pé ṣe ló máa ń yá mọ́yàn tó wá di pé ó ṣàfẹ́ máa dá wà always ẹ jẹ́ ká wò dé mo lè fẹ́ kẹ́ mọ̀ pé kì í wá ṣe pé ká rí sign kan àbí sign méjì ká ti rò pé bóyá ó ti ń lo oògùn olóró rárá a gbọ́dọ̀ rí tó signs bíi 5 kó tó di pé à mọ̀ pé ọmọ yẹn ó ti ń mú nǹkan báyìí then àwa òbí náà ìgbà míì tọmọ bá ti school dé tó bá ti iléèwé dé ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé báàgì iléèwé wọn ẹ jẹ́ ká wọn nǹkan tó wà nínú ẹ̀ then àwọn ọmọ wa náà tó wà ní higher institutions wọ̀nyẹn láì sọ fún wọn ẹ jẹ́ ká wá wọn lọ then tó bá dẹ̀ ń ṣe ìpàdé òbí àti olùkọ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká máa yọjú síbẹ̀ ká béèrè performance àwọn ọmọ wa ká béèrè kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ìgbésí ayé àwọn ọmọ wa.
ó dà ẹ ṣeun gan ni I will come to Officer Musa Balogun Adeola kan bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ síwájú sí lákòókò tí a wà yìí ṣé àwọn òbí ní ìmọ̀ tó tó gẹ́gẹ́ bí experience yín ní ìpínlẹ̀ Èkìtì do you think parents have enough knowledge to really identify these signs or have sufficient knowledge about drug abuse, substance abuse?
We have been trying our best. A dẹ̀ tún máa gbìyànjú sí lórí ìpolongo ṣíṣe. Gẹ́gẹ́ bá a ṣe máa ń sọ lórí ètò yìí, a ti lọ sí garage ọjà, a ti lọ some streets náà tá a ti lọ campaign, a ti lọ churches níbi tá a mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn máa ń pọ̀ sí, a ti lọ mosque, a ti lọ oríṣiríṣi ibi táwọn èèyàn ń dúró sí tí a mọ̀ pé population àwọn èèyàn pọ̀ ń bẹ̀. Sẹ́yìn pé information tá à ń sọ is very key láàrin àwùjọ ṣùgbọ́n a lè máa lọ inú yàrá kọ̀ọ̀kan ọ̀ ilé kọ̀ọ̀kan bíi tí a bá rí pé àwọn èèyàn wà irú ìpolongo tá à ń ṣe ní rédíò yìí nísìn náà you know majority are listening to radio. Òun ò jẹ́ ká lo amóhùnmáwòrán torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn wọn ẹ̀ wo tẹlifíṣàn mọ́ ọ̀ ká wo fíìmù ká wo nǹkan mìíràn làwọn èèyàn wò so irú rédíò mọ̀ pé a lot of people listen to radio most people náà máa ń gbé rédíò tira bóyá wà níbi iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n wà gbogbo ẹ̀ so ọlọ́run sì ti ṣe é sìn ìgbà kan náà pé rédíò ní asọ̀rọ̀ mọ́ gbèsè rédíò náà ti ń gbèsè sìn so a rí i pé ibi tí àwọn èèyàn bá pọ̀ sí à ń gbìyànjú tiwa láti make sure pé all the parents brothers sisters they were well informed nípa what is to look out for bá ṣe guide àwọn ọmọ wa bá ṣe tọ́ àwọn ọmọ lórí bí wọn ṣe ní mùmúkúmu tí wọn ò ní yàyàkuyà tí wọn lè wúlò fún ara wọn òbí àwùjọ most especially themselves torí àkóbá tí ẹlòmíín ṣe fún rẹ̀ mo ka kíní kan lórí social media láàárọ̀ pé ẹlòmíín èèyàn máa ń lọ ń take responsibility kan tí èèyàn ò mọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ nǹkan mìíràn tọ́mọ èèyàn ṣe tọ́ ọmọgbà tó ń ṣègbádùn yẹn tó rò pé ó ń gbádùn tó ń commit that problem.
òbí ni ó wà fara káṣá tó bá yá.
òbí fara káṣá àwọn ará lé báyọ̀ ó nìkan máa dáwó rehabilitation this is not easy go to psychiatric hospital or anywhere now it's not easy you spend thousands of naira tó yẹ kí a fi ṣe nǹkan ẹlòmíì tó wáyé pé nǹkan míì tá à ń ṣe láyé ìyá rẹ̀ yẹn nìkan nìyẹn fi ń ṣe it would have been better that is why if you see something say something don't keep quiet when you see something going on in your family or to anybody because at the end of the day nílé gbójú kò kàn ní kò kàn mí torí bá bá tẹ̀ ní òkan ò ní jẹ́ gbádùn ìkànnì kò dá sí wa kò sí kíníkan so ẹlòmíín ṣe action mi tó jẹ́ pé at the end of the day a lot of people take that responsibility where the problem comes. So gẹ́gẹ́ bí kàtà ìbéèrè parents like kan fẹ́ sọ we are trying to inform the parents láti soon ẹ rí i pé bàbá ṣe rally a máa ń pín pamphlets sabara àwọn ọlọ́kadà àwọn mọ́tò gbogbo àwọn tó bá ń kọjá a máa jù sí wọn àbí tá a bá ti rí shops a fún wọn ní pamphlets yẹn to read more to be informed about because òbí gbọ́dọ̀ ní knowledge gbogbo kan tá à ń sọ yìí kí ni àwọn oògùn wọ̀nyí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ lè identify kí ẹ mọ̀ pé ọmọ tó bá ń change behaviour kan tètè mọ̀ pé ọmọ yìí ìwà tó ń fi ó ti fẹ́ mọ yàtọ̀ what might be the reason you do research you find out kí ló lè fa reason tí ọmọ tó ń behave báyìí tẹ́lẹ̀ tó wá ṣe bó ṣe ń ṣe so bó ṣe jẹ́ nu we are trying our best to make sure parents brothers everybody is informed.
Oda ẹ ṣeun gan ni fún illustration tí ẹ fún wa ní kíákíá nípa ohun tí à ń mẹ́nubà lákòókò tá a wà yìí. Let me come to Officer Ifeoluwa Fabiyi this morning. I'd like us to talk about the roles, the stages of drug addiction. But before that, let me do this very lightly. They say police is your friend. Is NDLE your friend? Then, along with that, to tell us about some the stages of drug or substance addiction. Very quickly.
Thank you, Mr. Shegun. Yes, like you said, NDLA is your friend. This program is one of the platforms we have created to engage with members of the public aside the other platforms. So NDLA is your friend, and that is why our phone number is out there in the public for anybody to reach out to us. You can come up to our office anytime if you have any concern, if you have any questions. So yes, we are the friends of the public and they are our friends. All right. Back to your question. You talked about stages of drug abuse, and this one is very important for parents so that they can help in early detections of substance use before it gets to the stage of addiction. Now, it's not even stages of addiction. We're talking about stages of drug use. The first one is what we call, we identify 4 different stages. The first one is what we call experimentation stage. Experimentation is this is when an individual has first contact with drug, when they try the drug for the very first time, either out of curiosity or because of peer pressure. Maybe they go to party and their friends are taking, let me puff and pass, quote and unquote, which we see on social media, puff and pass, puff and pass. So that's experimentation. They just try it for the first time. Some may stop at that, but others they may continue after that one. Then there is what is called occasional use. Occasional is they don't go out on their own to go and buy this thing. They don't consciously make effort to get this drug. But if it comes their way, maybe in parties, birthday party, or social events, social gathering, they will take it. Maybe when they are with their friends are drinking. Sorry, low, pass you can. Before you know what's happening, they also take it. They will call it occasional use or social use. It comes once in a while. The third stage that we also identify is the stage where we call the regular use. Regular use is the stage where the individual intentionally make effort to get the drug. They have started using it, they become used to it, but it has not gotten to the stage where it begins to interfere with their daily activities. But they go out on their own to go and look for the drug because they like the taste, because they like the way it makes them feel. And that is what you see in most cases. Now, the stage, which is the last stage, that is the most dangerous, and which is why this program is set up, is what we call the addiction or dependency stage. This is a stage where the body has become used to the drug. The body can no longer function without the drug. The person will become addicted. The person will become hooked. That without the drug, the body cannot function normally again. It is that stage where the individual gets to, and the person loses the power to say no. The person loses the power to control the drug use. We call it addiction or dependency stage. Some will tell you there's another stage, which is death. But we're not going to, we pray it won't generate to that. So these 4 stages are very important, and for parents to know, so that when they begin to see signs, like our Oga said earlier, my colleague also mentioned it, by the time they begin to see signs of drug use, before it degenerates, they say prevention is better than cure. But my brother, I can tell you that prevention is cheaper than cure. My Oga mentioned earlier that rehabilitation is expensive. Yes, rehabilitation is very, very expensive. An average family in this Nigerian economy cannot afford it. And before you know what is happening, you see the individual that become addicted, they are thrown to the streets. The family neglects them. So that's why we are shouting that please
Say no.
say no to drug.
Because of our time, we just have to wrap it up at this point this morning. But let me let you know that there are 4 different stages of substance abuse, according to what officers have told us this morning. The experimentation stage, the puff and pass stage, occasional use or social use, regular use where the individual goes out to get it by himself, but is not interfering with anything, and the addiction or dependency stage. And also some of the factors that can influence kids who are still under their parents to involve in substance abuse. Some things around family environment, peer influence, which is very, very important and crucial. Parents should identify the persons that their kids are rolling with. Social media and role modeling, as well as some ill-portrayed characters on television screens, on the social media, that can affect the perception of these young ones about real life. Substance abuse is dangerous and ultimately can result in disabilities and death. I'd like you to watch over your child today so that it did not bring you problem in the future. On behalf of everyone who has joined us for the program this morning, officers from the NDLEA State Command who have joined us in the house. My name is Oluwa Shegun Deleke. I'm asking you to join us next week for another edition of the program at 11:30. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.
Midas Radio, ìkànnì aráàlú tó ń fẹ́ tàráàlú tó ń ṣe tàráàlú.